RVing for Newbies, also known as RV Mentor. Today, we start a series on electricity, specifically 120 volt alternating current. Let's begin. RV Mentor, RVing for Newbies, ethics disclaimer. All the tools being used, the items being installed or reviewed were purchased by RV Mentor. The only exceptions will be denoted in the next slide in this video, giving the name of the manufacturer, the items, and how they were acquired, donated, etc. The things stated in this video are the opinions of RV Mentor and are just that, opinions, but are based on 13 years of being an RV owner and being an RV inspector. Let's get on with the video. Welcome to electricity, alternating current. We're quickly going to talk a little bit about volts. When people are talking about volts, you'll hear them say 110, 115, 120, 220, 230, or 240. When I'm talking about volts for this lesson, I will use 120 and 240 as the numbers. First, because it makes for easy math, and ideally, that is the voltage you should see in your RV from shore power and your generator. Safety. Safety is our number one thing when we're talking about electricity. It is of the utmost importance. You don't want to get shocked when you're working on your RV. You don't want your family members to get shocked either. One of the things we will talk about later in the video is called a hot skin condition. And I'll give you a great explanation of exactly what that is and how you don't want to touch the outside of your RV and know that it's electrified and you feel a tingle. Anytime you're feeling a tingle, that's a bad thing. It only takes 20 milliamps, which is 20 thousandths of an amp, to cause your hand to clamp down and you will not be able to let go of an energized wire. Think about that. On a 20 amp circuit, the breaker will not pop before you're being shocked. 30 milliamps can cause your heart to go into fibrillation, also known as irregular heartbeat, and it can kill you. It doesn't take much to kill you. Things to keep in mind when working with alternating current. Number 1, unplug shore power. Number 2, ensure your generator is turned off. Number 3, if your RV can automatically start the onboard generator when shore power drops or is disconnected, turn that off. Number 4, power off your inverters. Let's take a look at non-contact voltage testers. This is the second tool in your arsenal you definitely want to have. Multimeters 1, non-contact voltage testers 2. And when we go and do the testing of a pedestal and the video associated with that, you'll see why this is important so that you don't get shocked in the event that pedestal is wired incorrectly. Before you use these, test them in a known socket. One you know there's electricity in. I don't care if it's off your generator, in your house, or whatever. Make sure the battery's not dead. If a socket's wired correctly, you'll get nothing out of the left. You'll get nothing. Sometimes you can't even get it in the ground. This one, kind of skeptical. It's kind of close. We might pull this one out and take a look. See, even just getting close enough to it will give you. Now let's take a look at the other one. Notice how far away I am, and it's beeping. This is a good 3 to 4 inches away from there. Here's what sounds like if it's in the plug and there's live 120 volt AC. There's nothing in these prongs, but this device has 2 modes. One for lower voltage, meaning if I'm seeing scatter voltage, maybe I think it goes down to 40 volts. Might even go down lower than that. But if you're anywhere near it, here's where it's registering. It's not registering the full beep at like 120, but it is saying there's electricity around here somewhere. Hot skin condition. Definition: this occurs when the frame of the vehicle is no longer at the same voltage potential as the earth around it. Also means you can be shocked by touching your RV. Okay, so we're outside now. We're going to be testing with our non-contact voltage tester. My RV is currently plugged in. I'm checking metal things. Screws. Now, let's take a look here. This is our outside sockets. Should we have anything here? Yep, absolutely. We get nothing. Nothing there. let's take a look at some other metal pieces out here. Let's take a look at one of these locks. Nothing. All right. How about the bumper? Nothing. Now, you heard a beep there? If you go and start smacking these things around, they will beep. So be careful when you're touching things. Nothing. That's aluminum. See, I hit the smacked off of there. All right, let's see what else we got. Nothing here. No. What we got here? Aha, here's our shore power connection. You bet. There's electric in there. You can see it there in the plastic. Can you see it in the cord? Not really. Maybe. Depends. As we continue around the RV, testing various metal parts, we should not really hear anything, except that occasional beep when I'm banging it into things. Any of the frame? Nope. Door handle? Something you might grab. It would be tingly. We got nothing here. All right, probably the biggies. That's plastic, that's not gonna be a big deal. Your door handle and your locks. Okay, doesn't seem like we got anything going, as it should be. All right, we're going to quickly talk about dog bone adapters. Those are the adapters that you go when you've got a 30 amp RV and need to plug into a 50 amp receptacle or any of those kind of combinations. First one on the list is the 30 amp receptacle for a 50 amp RV. Now, if you've got a 50 amp RV and you're at a campground and they've only got 30 amp receptacles, you will not be able to run both of those air conditioners and your microwave and all that other electrical stuff at the same time because you don't have as many amps as you normally would at a 50 amp receptacle. Keep that in mind. You can use one of these dog bone adapters, but you probably are not going to be able to run everything simultaneously. Next on the list is your 50 amp receptacle for a 30 amp RV. That's what I've got. I've got a 30 amp RV, and sometimes I go to a campground where there's a 50 amp receptacle only. So I need the dog bone adapter to let me plug my shore cord into the 30 amp side and then plug into the receptacle at the pedestal at 50 amps. And that's what you got here. On the next one we're looking at is a 30 amp receptacle for a 15 amp RV or an appliance. Say you've got a pop-up and you just need a certain amount of electricity, maybe for your air conditioner or something, and it has a normal, what you'd consider a household plug on the end of it. And you've got a 30 amp receptacle at the pedestal. This kind of dog bone will let you plug into the receptacle, the 30 amp socket, and plug your normal shore cord, which I'd consider normal be what you'd have like in a plug in your house, and you can plug into that. The last one on the list here is a 15 amp receptacle for a 30 amp RV. Now there's going to be a lot of discussion about this one as to whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, and normally the discussion will go towards it being bad almost extensively. So if you take a 15 amp receptacle and say that's all you got at a campground for some reason, and you've got a 30 amp RV, think about this. You're looking at being only able to run at most half of your stuff, and probably not even a single air conditioner will run, because the surge on it to start up an air conditioner is going to probably be either right at or a little over 15 amps. You're not going to make it work. This is one of those things that you probably don't want to do if you can totally avoid it.